There's a lawyer in our building that I've been here for almost 50 years. I'm on the penthouse floor, and this young man has built a law practice that is of national fame, that is almost of international fame. And Professor, as I call him, lawyer Larry Levin, works on a specialty. When you do anything in this world, what many people don't understand, have a segmentation, have a targeted audience. Do what you're doing and become the expert in what you're doing for that targeted audience. What's Larry's targeted audience? Listen to this, because this is brilliant, babe. Disability. Larry is now the Dean of Disability University, where he does the legal battles for the disabled. And okay, he got the money. Now what do they do for the rest of their lives? He puts them into a home-based business with a joint venture that we have with Larry. Larry, take the floor, please. Listen to this brilliant, brilliant thing that none of us would even dream about. It came about through coincidence, God's way of staying anonymous. Larry, then take the floor, babe.
Thank you very much for this forum, this worldwide forum, to share with us an idea whose time has come. We have planted the seed, Brian and I, disabilityuniversity.org. You're going to hear all about it. And today's show is co-sponsored by my law firm, the BulldogLawyers.com, and by
Brian Mittman, and I'm with the DisabilityGuys.com. Markoff and Mittman, a disability law firm based out of the greater New York area, and co-founder of Disability University with Larry.
So, as I said, this is a seed which has been planted by Brian and I, and is in the midst of germinating. The idea that the journey to justice that Brian and I accompany the disabled on, whether they be a disabled veteran, somebody injured or made ill on the job, or somebody who needs the help of the Social Security system, when they get to the end of that journey, what do they do after that? So, in today's show, we want to talk about some things in the workers' compensation realm. Next time we're going to talk about a item that's been in all over the news, this horrible latest scandal with the Veterans Administration. Brian and I have been doing this for years. This is nothing new, believe me. It's just a different version of the same thing, a different way that the veteran is treated after he's finished his tour of duty. Anyway, that's for next time. But this time we want to talk about some elements of the workers' compensation world. Now, this world, not a lot of people know about, because, thank God, most people are never injured or made ill on the job, so you don't have to encounter the system. But it's a system, unless you work in the federal government, it's a system that is unique on a state-by-state basis. But I want to talk with Brian today about some of the aspects of it that need to be unconcealed. And the first thing we're going to deal with is the idea of an independent medical exam. And this is something that's a complete lie. It's not an independent medical exam. It's a medical exam that the insurance company has a right to in most states to have you examined, and they hire a what, Brian?
Well, for better lack of a word, they hire an absolute paid hack, a defense medical expert. But before we even delve into that, something I always like to remind both my potential clients, my current clients, my past clients, and anybody who deals with somebody who has had a work-related accident. And if you think back, if you're out there listening, you know whether you actually own a business that has employees or whether you have a spouse, a friend, a colleague, people get hurt. They don't think too big deal about it, not a big deal, and then things happen. The system was designed over 100 years ago throughout the country after a lot of death and a lot of mayhem in the industrialized portions of our country. And it was a great trade-off to provide an insurance benefit to an injured worker so they could get medical care and lost wages and then get back to work in some capacity. And that's why we're here talking about home-based businesses for the disabled who are getting benefits and want to get back to work. But the system itself is designed to get you some benefits, to get you medical care, and from the employer side of things, you're protected because all you have to do is buy an insurance policy and you cannot be sued by the injured worker. It's a trade-off. Unfortunately, that trade-off has also been co-opted by huge insurance businesses that are out to make a profit and a profit only. And what they're doing is finding a way to squeeze every penny out of the injured worker, not only while they're out of work, but while they continue to have medical problems And one way they do that with this alleged independent medical exam, which is not independent, it's certainly not medical, and to be frank, some of these last about 30 seconds, so that wouldn't even be an exam. And I think you'd agree with me on that, Larry.
Yeah, over the years, I did this 44 years ago in the beginning as a claim adjuster. I used to go to these exams, and if I wasn't there when it first started, I missed it if I was a couple, 3 minutes late, because A, they didn't pay the doctor all that much, and B, the exam is going to say the same thing no matter what the patient said. And it often has never ceased to amaze me that if you're a workers' compensation judge and you sit through these hearings and time after time, hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times, you hear a man or a woman say, the doctor never even touched me. Now, could all these people be making this up? So how could you possibly believe anything that doctor said? Yet some of them do. And that makes this journey to justice even more frustrating. In fact, if you go to my website, BulldogLawyers.com, you will see actual clients talk about this. They'll talk about this independent medical exam and what really took place. Now, the next thing, this is another, I think, borders on being a fraudulent aspect of the workers' compensation system, which, by the way, we know is the single most profitable line of insurance in the world. That's why in Pennsylvania we have no shortage of insurance companies wanting to get involved in it. It's extremely profitable right now, and basically always has been. But this next fraud that I want to talk about is the rehab nurse. Brian.
The rehab nurse. Again, this is another reason why Larry and I created the Disability University, to educate people on how to better themselves and improve their life. Betterment through knowledge and uplifting the disabled, because no matter what you're facing during the benefit process, unbelievable odds, and even after the process. And once again, the disability nurse or the nurse case consultant, whatever you want to call him or her, is very simple. It sounds great. Let's get a nurse involved who can monitor the case to make sure that the individual is getting the care, that the doctor seems to be doing the right thing, and she can communicate with the insurance company. But guess who pays the nurse? The insurance company.
And guess what? She's not a nurse. And there's no such thing as a rehab nurse. If you look up in any state a listing of the licensed healthcare providers, you'll not find anything that in any way talks about a rehabilitation nurse or a rehab nurse. It says on their card, Shirley Jones, RN. Well, somebody sees that. My client sees, oh, she's an RN. But she's an adjuster. She is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Mainly women do this, but I've had some rehab nurse men do it. And they actually go in to your appointment with you. You go to see the doctor, even if it's the company doctor, who, miracle of miracles, say, John really isn't in any shape to go back to work at this time, and hands him a note, 2 more weeks off. John hands a copy to the rehab nurse. The rehab nurse goes in to see the doctor. Next thing you know, no restrictions, return to work. Now, what does that say about the company doctor? And this is the rule rather than the exception. So these are 2 of the things that happen in the workers' compensation realm. And Brian and I could go on and on and on and on. And I like to keep these presentations under 10 minutes. And so this is only the tip of the iceberg. The whole idea here for us is to encourage, after the end of the journey to justice, an escape from the prison of disability. I've realized this. Now, how can you escape from a prison you don't know you're in? You don't know until the end of the journey, and this is where we have been so frustrated, because no matter how it ends, a favorable decision, a lump sum of money, whatever it does, in workers' compensation, well, then what do you do? And, Burl, we can do this. Brian and I can do this one client at a time. And we have, between the 2 of us, a fairly sizable database to pull from. And we have other people. Of course, these are lawyers that you got to convince that this is the right thing to do, which is kind of like herding cats. It is the right thing to do. I know it's the right thing to do, so we need some help. And you're joint venture partners who may be listening to this, I hope they hear the sincerity that Brian and I bring to this newly planted idea whose time has come. We can bring our imprimatur, our stamp of approval, the Disability University's stamp of approval on this whole process. Because you see, I've realized this, I think I realized this a long time ago. My clients have the single most valuable asset anybody can have during the process of the journey and afterwards. They have time to think. and they just need a little guidance in this. And this organization, the Internet Consortium, the BizOp University, oh my God, it's a dream come true for lawyers like me who think this way. Brian?
Absolutely. As, again, one of the biggest things that you hear in this day and age is all about all this awful things that happen with disability, and there's fraud, and there's all these awful things. Yet you then start to see stories like the Veterans Administration stories where these poor guys and gals who are disabled, who need medical care, who are entitled to medical care, are waiting months and months and months care, and some have even died while waiting. Yet, and this is something that we've promised these folks who have given the ultimate to defend our country. And if it's happening there, you can begin to imagine what it happens to the everyday, regular working person. So not only do we provide free educational resources at our own website, like mine, thedisabilityguys.com, but we are finding and looking for ways to promote returning to work, to promote earning money. Larry and I have been feverishly working internally in our own law firms on how to better communicate to our clients, hey, we got you the benefits, what's next? Now what? And Burrell's World and everything and all the people that we listen to on this show on a daily basis have wonderful opportunities. So certainly feel free to reach out to us about that. And if you're an individual or you know people who need information or resources so that they can make better judgments, visit our website, thedisabilityguys.com or bulldoglawyers.com. It's too important. You can't stop at just making a sale and saying thank you very much and good luck and leaving them hanging out there. Because what happens? We all shook hands and said thank you very much for for defending our country. You're going to get VA benefits. And nobody looked behind the scenes to see what horrible things are going on. And you have to always be vigilant, whether it's in the VA, Social Security disability, workers' compensation, or anything. Because disability does not discriminate. And in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones, you have to pay attention.
So here is what is available to the individual listener or to, I call them your herd of potential clients and customers from us. You can go to either BulldogLawyers.com, and if you go there, you can get the book on comp, it's a guide to workers' compensation, or you can get the book on veterans' claims. These are two books that I've helped author and are available free. And you just contact us at BulldogLawyers.com. As many as you want, we can make available. And at Brian's...
Yeah, at thedisabilityguys.com, we also have free resources about New York workers' compensation, a book that I authored, as well as navigating the Social Security disability maze, and some other free reports and resources. And one thing that I want to make clear for everybody is no matter where you are in the country, between Larry and I, we have been doing this well over 60, 70 years, and we are part of various disability organizations throughout the nation, and probably, other than North Dakota for some reason, know an attorney or know a resource in every single state. So please, one offer we want to offer everybody is use us as a resource to help you and to uplift the people that trust you and look up to you.
There's one final thing. Back in 2007, I put together a book for lawyers. It was a marketing book for lawyers. It was called Power of Attorney. And it was based upon a book that I think a lot of people who are listening have come into contact with, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Well, I gave it out to some lawyers, and then I realized, why should I limit this to lawyers? Because these are universal principles. So I started giving it to clients. And my publisher, Executive Books, which was owned and run by a man who meant so much to me in my career, Charlie Tremendous Jones, of recent fond memory. But he saw something in me I didn't see in myself. He saw something in this manuscript, and he helped me make it into a book. And I've given away over 6,000 copies of this book, and I'm ready to give away even more. So use us as a resource. That's what we're here for. And Burl, again, thank you so much for making this forum available to Brian and I.
Thank you, Burl.
Wow, what geniuses. You hear the wake-up call to hear the information they're providing that most of us don't even have a clue about. And now we take the disabled and we level the playing field for them by putting them into their own home-based business. This is going to be something when you go to the Lord, Larry, and you go to the Lord, Brian, he's going to pat you on the top of the head and say, you did a good job, kid.